Right. Kia ora, and thanks for coming to today. Great to have a few of you here. It's not Jodie Williams, we've got Joe Brothers with us today, who's the Global Digital Global Digital and Social Media Manager at Air New Zealand, and I'm Catherine Bates, General Manager of Brand and International PR from Tourism New Zealand. What Joe and I want to just sort of spend a few minutes on this afternoon is sharing with you some thoughts on social media, but also the broader digital environment, and hopefully there'll be a couple of things from that you can take away and maybe do within your own businesses. So just to get started, what I'd like to do is just take you through three things that we're doing at Tourism New Zealand at the moment to really take advantage of some of the themes and trends we're seeing in the digital environment. In the last 2 years, we've seen some pretty big advances within digital, and particularly in the way that we're actually using digital marketing within Tourism New Zealand. And what we've seen is we're delivering more people to newzealand.com. So for the last 2 months, we've been getting 1.2 million visits at newzealand.com per month. That's 1.2 million people who are interested in New Zealand, planning their trip, researching their trip, or dreaming about coming. But importantly, they're not just there staying static, we're actually turning those into referrals and leads for travel sellers, and we're doing that at over a rate of 15%. We drive a lot of that visitation through organic traffic, so people who are finding the site by typing it into their browser or through just general Google search, but we're also driving a lot of the traffic through media, and we're getting much better at our media efficiency to ensure that when we kind of capture somebody within Google or within other websites, we're doing that at a very low rate so we can ensure we can spend our money wisely. And in terms in social media, we're growing an advocate base because we all know that word of mouth is one of the most important marketing tools within tourism and for New Zealand. And within the next 2 to 3 weeks, we should be hitting 1 million advocates or fans or likes within our social media environment, which we think is pretty powerful for us to be taking messages about New Zealand to the world. So 3 things that we're taking advantage of within the next 12 months. The first one's about inspiring, motivating and converting. And quite often when we think about the digital environment, we think about converting and selling in e-commerce and right down at the pointy end of the trend or the decision-making process. But what we're beginning to see, and it's becoming pretty clear through lots of different research sources, that people are saying that it won't be long before they do all their travel research online. So right up at that top end of the funnel, which I know it's pretty hard for you to see here, but at that dreaming phase, we're already seeing that 72% are spending time researching their next destination online. And when you get down a little bit further between consideration and planning, 92% of online searches are for travel, and with an average of 20 searches per trip. So lots of, not only down here at the booking end, lots of activity up when people are dreaming, looking for their next destination, and then those travel searches for finding out what they're going to do. And travellers are making on average 21 site visits per purchase. So if we're not online and we're not actually taking the right information and content to people, New Zealand won't be in their consideration set. So what we're beginning to do within our marketing is looking at digital as being not only down at that booking end, but right up in that inspiration. And one of the best resources for us is newzealand.com. It's probably one of the best resources that we can drive preference of New Zealand for a holiday destination. And we're also going to be modifying our media placement, so we're using a lot more rich or video placements so that we're actually using advertising to drive engagement. So we'll be looking at driving really heavy engagement through all of our media placement. The second trend we're looking at is using visitors as our marketers. And you'll know through your own activity, when you see what you're doing, advertising is becoming more transparent and less influential. And this is a trend that's been happening for quite a long time. When we ask potential visitors or consumers about what forms of communication they trust, unfortunately, we see advertising down at the bottom here. Now, that doesn't mean it's not effective. It absolutely is effective and should be a key part of our marketing mix. But where we need to take more opportunities at the top there, when 90% of people are saying it's recommendations from people and consumer opinions posted online at 70%, are the two forms of communication that they trust the most. We also are beginning to see trends come through that reviews are the leading source of travel research in many of our key markets, and in particular the UK. So Friends are one of the most trusted sources of information, and consumers who purchase travel online, 52% of them consult travel or blogger information before they do so. So thinking about the kinds of information sources people trust and the trends we're seeing in tourism, this is becoming really important for us. Looking at Facebook, and this is a Facebook figures for New Zealand, but we know it's relevant in all key markets. In New Zealand, there's 22 million Kiwis every month within Facebook, and that's across all demographics. We sometimes think about that being much more at the young end, but we're seeing a really good cross-section of use of Facebook. On average, that's 55 minutes per day that people are spending within Facebook, and that's 30 times a month. So that's 120 million minutes that New Zealanders are spending on Facebook every month. So we're thinking about what they're doing there, they're posting about their lives, they're interacting with other brands. We need to really make sure that we're there using it as a word of mouth tool. Because word of mouth is particularly key for tourism, because products are very difficult to evaluate prior to purchase. So bringing that back to New Zealand, why is it important for us? Well, if we look at our own research sources like the Visitor Experience Monitor, we know that 96% of visitors are likely to recommend New Zealand, and 97% said they've written or spoken positively about New Zealand. So how do we use the growing trend of Facebook, social, and word of mouth is important, and we know we get great recommendation. How can we use that? One of the things that we're going to be doing in the next 12 months is ensuring that we're using social media to get people to share about their experiences while they're in New Zealand and when they're at home. And we're seeing two opportunities there, with a group that we're calling digital natives, those who are spending a lot of their time online and within digital assets and are very familiar with it, and that non-digital native down here. And on this axis, we've got, on this one here, it's about sharing. So at the top, the ease of sharing and the desire to share at the bottom. And across this one on time, it's in New Zealand and post-travel. There's a couple of things that we think are important here. These digital natives, the ones who, absolutely want to share, and they want to do it in New Zealand, it's the time that it's hardest for them. So we're losing some opportunities to get those great recommendations out when people are in New Zealand. So what we're looking for is how, through our own tools, through newzealand.com, can we encourage people to post and talk about New Zealand quickly. As operators, many of you are doing this, but how can we make Wi-Fi more accessible for visitors while they're in New Zealand? Absolutely, sell the picture of someone just doing the bungee, but make it really easy for them to share that with their friends back home instantly, because they're going to be your biggest form of recommendation. And we know that we're seeing now that visitors are your most powerful marketer, and if we can get that message out quickly, it's a powerful tool for New Zealand. The non-digital native, those who have a less desire to share, and they're likely to do it when they're back home, much easier for them, so a great target as well to ensure that you're looking at those opportunities. The last, number 3, is using mobile as a core channel, and Ross picked up on this. In the next 3 years, mobile will be the key channel that will enable people to book, find, recommend, and to recommend New Zealand. Sorry, I'm just having trouble moving that on. Thanks. And mobile isn't just used, when people are in New Zealand, it's been used now before, during and after travel. And we're seeing huge increases in mobile use of internet searches. So mobile queries represent 21% of all search traffic today, and that was only 11% 12 months ago. So the use of tablets and mobile devices, smartphones, are on the increase. In terms of Google queries, mobile and tablet account for 45% of holiday destination inquiries. And 1% of internet traffic in 2009 came from mobile. In 2012, that was 13. So if we're not using mobile, if your site isn't responsive to mobile devices, so smartphones, tablets, iPads, what I mean there, when someone is from their tablet detects your website, if it's not responsive and it's not sized correctly, you're missing an opportunity. There's also the opportunity to develop apps so that you can actually have a smartphone or tablet experience. And when we're thinking about travel, there's 2 opportunities here. it's the young, and it's also visitors in New Zealand that are going to offer, or at the moment, offer the biggest opportunity for us. In terms of research of travel, lots of research going on. 38% of all visitors are using mobile devices to search, but you can see there that 18 to 34 at 58% is the big opportunity. And then whilst on holiday, so once people are in country, you can see accommodation, events and flights at 21 and 16% opportunity of what people are actually booking. So what we're looking at Tourism New Zealand at the moment is ensuring that our site is responsive for any device, whether it's a desktop, PC, tablet or smartphone, that the site responds to that browser and we provide the right content at the right time, particularly if people are planning their holiday offshore. And then within the next 2 months, we'll be launching our first mobile application for in New Zealand use. So encouraging people with information for booking to take advantage of the second opportunity here, that we know that people need information while they're actually in market, and actually pushing referrals through to you, the travel sellers who can take up that opportunity. So in summary, just 3 things we're looking at, 3 opportunities in digital media at the moment for us, is ensuring that our digital channels are working right through that decision-making process, inspiring, motivating and converting. That we're using social media to grow arrivals by using our visitors as our marketers. And we know that mobile will be the key channel within the next 3 years for people to find, book and share their experiences. So we're ensuring that our websites are responsive to those devices, and we're looking at how we can use apps to actually encourage more booking and more value from the visitors who are actually in New Zealand. So before we open to questions, I'll just hand over to Joe, who's going to introduce some content from Air New Zealand.
Hi everyone, my name's Jo. I look after social media for Air New Zealand, and we've got a quick video to show you before we open to Q&A. And I'd also like to mention we host a series of events called the Social Media Breakfasts, and we've brought down the likes of Randy Zuckerberg and Teddy Goff, and we have one coming up on May the 15th, and we're bringing down Guy Kawasaki, who Steve Jobs hired to be Apple's first marketing manager. And he currently works as one of the leading speakers in social media around the world. So there's details about that on the flyingsocialnetwork.com or Ticketmaster. But if we'd like to kick off with a video now.
Beat, beat goes the heart that's scared of everything. Bang, bang on the door, I'm trying to get in. No, no, I ain't giving up. But simple girl, I've just had enough. Let go and I'll take you far away from here. Forget all your worries, live it like there's no tomorrow. Can't explain what I'm feeling, why can't you see it? We don't have to wait for the season, wasting our time, there ain't no reason. Somewhere summertime, let's get out in the open. I'm gonna take you out on a holiday. We'll see the rising sun, everything's I'm gonna take you out on a holiday. I'm gonna take you out.
Great. Right, so Catherine and I are happy to answer any questions any of you have regarding social media or digital or anything that Catherine's talked on.